Jackson, you want to help me put some cheese on?
Uh-huh.
You're going to use that? Okay. There you go. Here, let me have you use this one. These are big. Can you handle that? There you go. There. Well, hi, I'm Amy, and you're in Amy Roloff's Little Kitchen. So thank you for joining me. Today we're gonna make macaroni and cheese. Now, who doesn't love macaroni and cheese? I don't even know. But as I mentioned in the chicken strip recipe, I made this macaroni and cheese probably with a little more seasonings and a little more spice to it because I made it when my dad was here visiting and all of my kids were here. Molly and Joel were down from Spokane. Jacob and Isabel were up from Bend. And so I made chicken strips and mac and cheese and salad and all that other stuff for dinner. Well, today I am so excited because Ember and Jackson are coming over and they're gonna spend the night with Mimi. So I'm so looking forward to that. And I know mac and cheese is one of Jackson's favorite. And I know it's probably not gonna be what he's used to, so I'm hoping he'll like this along with Ember as well. So today we're gonna make macaroni and cheese. Right now I've got a pot of boiling water with macaroni in that. So I'm gonna cook it till it's al dente. And I've got my saucepan over there to get ready for the nice cheesy sauce. And so anyway, so what I'm doing here, I'm gonna make a roux first. I'm gonna saute onions, then add the flour, and then add the milk, create this nice base of a sauce. And then we're gonna add, I chose medium. I would do mild or medium cheddar cheese. And then I also have in here, you can use provolone, but for the life of me, I could not find provolone in the store. I don't know if it's because everyone wants provolone, but I could not find provolone except for slices. Anyway, so I have Fontina cheese in here. Fontina, I think that's how you pronounce it. Some of these words, I don't know. And then I have Gruyere. I think that's how you say it, Gruyere cheese. I just know it melts very well. So anyway, I have about a couple and a half of those cheeses combined. I really have about a cup of Fontina and about a half a cup of Gruyere cheese. For the cheddar, I have 2 cups. And we're gonna blend that all in with this nice creamy roux sauce, and that'll create your nice creamy cheese. So, I just have a little bit more to go on this. And then we'll be hanging out at the stove. Sorry if it's not the best there. But as I mentioned to you guys before, we're in COVID. So it is just me in my kitchen doing this little filming. I tell you, it's a lot of work. But you know what? I so enjoy cooking. I so enjoy doing these videos. So I appreciate you guys being a part of this. Mac and cheese are one of those dishes. I would love it with, throw in a little bit of Dijon mustard. That'll create a nice flavor to it. Obviously you can add bacon and other elements and, you know, ingredients like that to it. Another thing is I love using, I think it's truffle oil, and have that nice truffle macaroni and cheese on this nice creamy sauce. That'd be good too. So you can, macaroni and cheese is very versatile. It's like potatoes, mashed potatoes or rice. Okay, I think we're done there with this cheese. I'm gonna use this cheese to kind of put on top of the macaroni and cheese. So why don't you join me over at my stove and we will finish macaroni and cheese, because as I look at the clock, Ember and Jackson are gonna be here in about an hour and a half, and I really wanted to get all of this cooking done before they got here. So I'm not in the kitchen cooking the whole time, and I've got 2 3-year-olds running around. By the way, Ember and Jackson are 3. And then here is about a quarter cup, a half a cup. Unless you really like an onion flavor to it, I wouldn't do a lot of onions. So I have about a quarter cup, maybe a half a cup at the most of onions. So let's get ready and join me at the stove. Okay, so you're here at the stove. I went ahead and drained my noodles because they were al dente. So I just have them sitting here with just a little bit of the pasta water because I think that'll help blend in with the sauce as well. And so anyway, you want the noodles al dente because you're gonna go ahead and bake this macaroni and cheese, and that way the macaroni will continue to cook. So let's get going on here. We're gonna go ahead and melt our butter. Let me get my whisk first. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot where I put it. So anyway, let's get our butter melted here. And we're gonna start sauteing our onions so that they'll be translucent and soft. Because I definitely don't want, let me move this up a little bit. I definitely don't want Jackson and Ember to bite into a crunchy onion. They might not like that. We'll get the butter melted here. I love macaroni and cheese. What a comfort food, you know? I think I've been eating too much comfort food though during COVID. I've got a few pounds to lose, people. So the butter's almost melted, but I'm gonna go ahead and add in the onions. I got everything here. I got my milk, my cheese, salt and pepper, seasonings. So we're gonna let this cook for a minute. There you go. So let's just be cooking. So here we are. You definitely don't want your onions to brown. So if they do start browning too quickly before they become translucent and soft, just turn down your heat. But we're gonna keep this going for a little bit until it gets to the right consistency. So yeah. There we go. I'm gonna have my hot pad ready because this pan's gonna be hot. So we're just softening up the onions. Like I said, I definitely don't want them to be brown. Let me get one other thing of butter. I added 2 tablespoons of butter in here to saute the onions, but I'm gonna add 1 more tablespoon. Because as I create the roux, I don't want this suddenly to become dry. And you really, a roux is really a flour and a moisture mixture. And you really want to cook the flour, the taste of the flour out of it, but you don't want it to turn brown. Because that means that changes the color and everything of your sauce. Okay. I think that's it. And I have about 2 tablespoons of flour in here. So I'm going to get the spoon out. I'm going to use my handy dandy whisk. And just gently sprinkle it in. There we go. And you just want to cook it for about a minute. That should be enough. So you kind of get that floury taste out of it. Oh yeah, this is really nice. I'm glad I added in that other little bit of butter because it's not all glumped up. Okay, so let's hurry up and add our milk. We'll slowly add our milk in. Stir that around a little bit. And we'll go ahead and add our other milk. This is about 2 cups of milk. And if you want more of a richer sauce, I would add 1 cup of milk and maybe 1 cup of half and half. That'll give you a little bit of cream. So this is gonna cook for a little bit until it thickens up. I don't know, I think cooking is so creative. It's like, man, when it all comes together, I get so excited. Well, Zach and Tori just called and Jackson's on his way, so I hope I can get this in the oven before they get here. I think it's starting to thicken up. Yeah, I can feel it a little bit. Oh yeah, it's starting to thicken up. And if you feel like it's thickening up too much, just go ahead and add a little bit more milk. I'm gonna go ahead and add in the cheddar cheese. Sprinkle it a little bit at a time so it has a chance to heat up in the nice warm sauce, the white sauce we've created. There we go. We're just gonna let that go for a little bit. And I know it's thickening up quite a lot, so I'm gonna go ahead and slowly add in about 1/2 cup of milk before I add in the other cheese. And you wanna go slowly because the milk I'm adding is cold, but this is warm. And you suddenly don't want everything to kind of tighten up, seize up, because we're using real cheese. Oh yeah, this is better. Oh yeah, this is much better. See, I think it's got a nice base to it, mixed in with the noodles. I'll go ahead and add in the other cheese. I hope moving this video isn't too hard on you guys. Like I said, I'm the only one doing this, so we're gonna add a little bit of this. This is the Fontina and Gruyere cheese. I hope I pronounced that right. I'm so sorry if I don't. Some of those names just get to me. My girlfriend Lisa just makes so fun of me, and I don't blame her, because Parmesan? No, I think it's Parmesan. Parmesan. Parmesan Reggiano. Yeah, I think it's Parmesan. I don't know why. I think I got stuck on saying it wrong since I was a little girl, and it's never gone away. You would think at my age I would know how to say that by now. Whoa. It's quite embarrassing. Now you notice that I didn't add any salt or pepper in here yet. I wanted to wait till this cheese melts. And that way I can taste the saltiness in it already before I add in salt. And I'm going to add just a little bit of hot paprika just to give it a little bit of spice. And I might even add just a dash of garlic. I know I'm serving macaroni and cheese to my grandkids, but will they know? I don't know. I don't know. Okay, this has not quite melted, all melted yet. Well, I got Jackson showing up right now, so I better get this stuff done. So, let me see. Let me taste this a little bit. Yeah, Jackson. Ribbit?
That's frog.
He's hopping like a frog. Okay, you know what? The cheese has made this, I think it's got enough salt in it. So I'm just gonna sprinkle just a little bit of garlic. I'd say like, you know, a quarter of a teaspoon or half a teaspoon. And just a little bit of hot paprika. Paprika. I think I add an A in there. So I'm gonna stir this around. Yeah. What is that? Oh, those are peanuts. We don't want peanuts right now. I'll get you something in a minute, Jackson, okay?
Okay.
Okay, we've got some good sauce going on here. If you want to check it out, I think it's good stuff. And little chunks of onion. So I think that'll be good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to slowly add in the macaroni. Oh, you've got the fish. Here, let me show you guys the fish. Hey, can you show everyone your fish? There you go. Yeah. That's a puppet fish. Kind of like Nemo. But anyway, like I said, I better get this stuff done. So we're gonna add the macaroni into the cheese sauce. We're gonna kind of coat it. Yeah, I'm so glad I kept just a little bit of the pasta water in there because it prevented the pasta from sticking together. Yeah. Oh, you have your water? Do you know where it's at?
Over there.
Okay. A little bit of parsley, dried parsley. That'll help add a little bit of flavor in there too. And plus it gives a little bit of color. Usually I add a little bit of fresh. Yeah.
I got my own.
Oh, all right. Jackson's telling me he has his own water bottle. But yeah, look at that. I think it's rich and creamy. So we are gonna put that in a baking dish. So Jackson came early, so he's helping me out to finish up the mac and cheese because I'm having Ember and Jackson over for dinner. We're gonna have a little bit of Mimi time, huh?
Me, Emma, make cupcakes.
Yes, Ember and Jackson are gonna make cupcakes with me. So let me get the mac and cheese here. Here we go, from the stove. Now be careful because this is hot, Jackson, okay?
Mimi.
Yeah.
Look, I got this.
So I'm gonna put this all in a baking dish. I tell you, some of these pans are so hot. I mean, not so hot, so heavy. And I'm gonna stick this in the oven and then I'm gonna sprinkle it with a little bit of breadcrumb mixture so it gets kind of toasty on top. Jackson, do you wanna help me put some cheese on?
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna use that? Okay, there you go. Oops. It kind of, here, let me have you use this one. These are big. Can you handle that? There you go. There. So this is going to be kind of a Mimi and Jackson mac and cheese, huh? How about you just use your hands and sprinkle some on for me? Can you do that? There you go. So we get a nice cheesy creamy top. And then I'm going to put, oh, you're gonna dump it? Okay. Well, one end may have more than the other. Okay, so I forgot to make the breadcrumb mixture, but I'll go ahead and do that. But I'm gonna stick this in the oven at 350 degrees for about 25 to 30 minutes, just so everything has enough to bake and the sauce thickens up a little bit and the noodles continue to cook until they're just right. Anyway, you can find this recipe and all the others over at Amy Roloff's Little Kitchen or on my YouTube channel as well. So we're not done yet. We need the breadcrumb mixture. Right, Jackson?
Right.
Okay, let's stick it in the oven. I'm gonna put my little timer on because there has been so many times where I forgot what I was doing and I overbaked. So we're gonna set it for about 28 minutes and I'll check on it then. But in the meantime, I'm gonna make the breadcrumb mixture and then we will sprinkle that over the macaroni and cheese in about the next 5 minutes. So that way it can toast up and have a great crunchy topping.
Mimi.
Yeah.
I said mine up. You have eggs.
Yes, I have eggs because what were we gonna do?
Donuts.
Make cupcakes. Yeah, cupcakes need eggs. So you and Emma are gonna help me do that. Can you say bye?
Bye.
So I'm gonna go ahead and make this breadcrumb mixture. So I'm just gonna do just a little bit of panko. Huh, is this a mixture? Oh, I think Jackson's up from a nap. So I'm just gonna do about maybe 1/4 cup of panko and about 3/4 of regular breadcrumbs with a little bit of garlic. You can use Italian style breadcrumbs. That'll create a lot of flavor too. But since I have the kids over, I'm not gonna make it too fancy. And then I've got a little bit of parsley here. Oh yeah, a little bit of salt. Where did my salt go? Here's the salt. Or are you right there?
Right here.
I am so glad. Where's the fork? I need a little fork. So we're gonna stir this up a little bit, and then I've got just a little bit of butter just to moisten it up. That'll help brown and toast the breadcrumbs.
Mimi.
Yeah.
Look.
Oh yeah, that kind of locks it. So we're just gonna stir this around a little bit. Now, like I said, you can make your own breadcrumbs. You can use old stale bread, cut them up in chunks, toast them up in the oven a little bit, and then grind it up in the food processor. But because of time and everything, because look at who I've got with me, I just use, you know, kind of regular breadcrumbs. Yeah. Well, that's garlic. We want to be careful with that one. Here, you want to sprinkle a little more parsley on here? Here, sprinkle a little more parsley on there. There you go. All right. Well, here we go. Up and down. Shake, shake, shake. Okay, that's all we need. Thank you, buddy. What's a little more parsley, huh? Okay, so I've got the butter all mixed in with the breadcrumbs. And I'm just gonna pull open the oven door and just sprinkle a little bit on here.
This is so
I don't think we need any more on that, honey, okay? But if you want that cheese, you can have it. So I'm just gonna pull this out a little bit. Oh, it is looking good, people. Look at how good that looks. And I'm just gonna go ahead and sprinkle a little bit of breadcrumbs.
Amy.
Yeah, Jackson, don't touch this because this is hot. Okay.
Okay. I just hold this.
Oh, you're gonna hold it with me? Okay. I have such a helper here in Jackson.
Amy, I hold myself.
Well, I know, I have to make sure people get this. Okay. We got the breadcrumbs on the mac and cheese, and then I'll let you know when it's all done. But I better shut the oven door. Jackson's my little helper. Are you my, here, let go. Are you my little helper?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you. I hold myself.
Okay, sorry, it's a little squirrely here, guys. Okay, bye. Well, I'll be back when it's all done. Well, hi guys, back in Amy Roloff's little kitchen. The mac and cheese is done. I'm so excited because I think it looks delicious. So why don't we take a look? Oh yeah, I think it's nice and creamy. Of course, it's hot. Yeah. Okay, I need to have a little bite of it. Let me get a fork. So this is mac and cheese. Okay, let me taste. So it went into the oven at 350 degrees for anywhere from about 25 to 30 minutes, just so the macaroni finishes up cooking, the breadcrumbs on top get toasted, and the cheese melts. Oh, it's hot.
Hey, Mimi.
Mmm.
Hey.
Mmm. This is so good. Kids or adults are gonna love this. And like I said, you can add bacon to it. You can add so much to mac and cheese. And if you want it a little bit more creamier, just add a little bit more milk and a little bit of cheese, and it'll be a little more creamier. But this is so good. I really like this. It's rich, it's tasty, it's comforting. So give it a shot, give it a try. So anyway, hang on, just one sec, okay, Jackson? So for this recipe for mac and cheese, find it at Amy Roloff's Little Kitchen, or you can find it on my YouTube channel for this recipe and all the others. So we're having chicken strips and mac and cheese with the grandkids. I cannot wait. Well, we're back at Amy Roloff's Little Kitchen, and I have changed because what I mentioned earlier is that I am taking this peach pie over to Jeremy and Audrey's house because Chris and I are going over there for dinner. Hey everyone, yeah, welcome back to Amy Roloff's Little Kitchen. I really hope you're doing your best to enjoy your summer. You know, most of us, if not all of us, are still being quarantined, impacted by the COVID-19, and I've been doing a lot in my kitchen, probably not making as many videos as I would like, but anyway, I am so enjoying going to the farmer's market. I'm so glad ours is open, limited amount of people, we're wearing our masks, trying to do all of the right things. But anyway, today in Amy Roloff's Little Kitchen, what speaks better of summer than peaches? We're gonna make a peach pie. Or I should say, I'm gonna make a peach pie. You know, I've done variations of peach pie, peach cobbler, just fresh peaches just over ice cream or on yogurt. I mean, oh, I just love summertime just because of the abundance of fresh produce and fresh fruit. So, in fact, I went to the farmer's market today, and the one vendor that I usually get the peaches from wasn't there. I almost panicked because these peaches probably are definitely a few days, older. I got them a couple of days ago. So I did go to another vendor and get some more peaches just in case these didn't quite work out. But I tell you, the whole kitchen smells like fresh peaches. It is so nice. So we're gonna make a peach pie. Sometimes my pies don't always turn out great. I don't know why, because of the juice. It's too juicy. So we're gonna start off with a good pie crust, I hope. And then we'll see what the peach pie turns out to be. But let's start off with the crust. So today I've got about 3.5 cups of flour in here. And then I have about 1.5 sticks of butter, 12 tablespoons of butter. I have about 1.5 teaspoons of salt. And then I do have a little bit of sugar because I'm making a fruit pie. I just wanted that hint of sugar in the crust and not have it just be like pie crust, plain pie crust. I don't know. That's what I'm doing. So let's get going. We are going to mix in the salt. Let's get all that salt in there. I'm going to mix in a little bit of sugar. In fact, I am going to see what this looks like. To tell you the truth, I put in sugar, but I don't know how much. And see, I think I put a little bit too much. I'm just gonna do a teaspoon. Just a teaspoon of sugar, because I don't want it overly sweet. I just want to add a little bit of sugar just to just take that edge off of just being plain dough. So we're gonna do this. Gonna make sure it just gets incorporated. But we're also putting it in the food processor, so that will help do it too. We'll just pour that all in. We're just gonna give it a quick, I have had this food processor for so long. It's a Cuisinart. Just give that a little pulse. And then let's add in our butter. I like putting the butter all around instead of just one big clump. And I did put this butter in the freezer. I think it works better. I think it helps not make the dough all gummy with soft butter. So I did put this in the freezer, I don't know, maybe about 15, 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, that's fine. So I got 12 tablespoons. So we're gonna do that first. And then, oh, by the way, I grew up with Crisco. My mom used Crisco all the time, or I should say vegetable shortening. You know what? It still does great. You get the richness of the butter and the flavor of butter, but there's nothing like that pie crust with Crisco. So we are using vegetable shortening, and this is about 1/3 cup. But I'm gonna do the butter first. I'm just gonna pulse it. Just to kind of get that going a little bit. Then I'm going to add in the shortening. I know some people, that's all they use is shortening. I don't think it gives the pie crust as much flavor when you do that, but you know what? Pie crust it's a very tricky thing. Pie crust, or any crust with whatever you're making, can make or break what you're cooking. So we're gonna give shortening a try again. Okay. I think that's about it. Yeah. I think that's about it. Just want to make sure, I'm going to get a little spatula to just make sure it's off the sides. Here we go. Because when I add the water, and I want to make sure all the flour, oh yeah. Okay, let me go get some very, very cold ice water. If you got water and you put ice in it, that's great too. I'm gonna say probably anywhere from 8 to 10 tablespoons, but a little bit more, a little bit less, depending on how it's being incorporated in the flour. Hi, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you are enjoying it, and I would really appreciate it if you liked it and subscribed to it. And oh, don't forget to click that little bell up there, and you'll be notified of future videos that are new and coming on my YouTube channel. So thank you so much for that. And I would really appreciate it if you shared the video and let other people know and encourage them to subscribe and like the videos as well. So anyway, thank you, and back to the video. Okay, so my pie crust is still in the refrigerator, doing the 30-minute, 45-minute thing, just getting that all good before I roll it out. So in the meantime, I cut up 9 peaches. The number of peaches or cups you want, it really depends on how deep your pie dish is or how shallow or round. Because I know I've got a deep dish and I'll use probably 12 peaches. And the other thing, I probably do put a little bit more in my pie because as they cook down, then you got this hollow shell of a crust. So I'm really hoping I have the right amount of peaches. So I did 9 peaches. I'm gonna put 1 more in it. And I will tell you this about what I do with peaches. I tell you, it smells so good. If you could try and U-pick, you know, if you have a U-pick place around you, or go to your farmer's market, those peaches are just they have so much more flavor and different varieties of peaches, and they just taste so good, so much more flavor. Anyway, because I got these at the farmer's market. I've gone online, and a lot of them will say, you know, put your peaches in boiling water for what, maybe 10 seconds, 20 seconds or more, just so it gets enough so that the peel comes off, the peach peel. The peach skin comes off easier. Most of the peaches that I have found, depending on the variety, the peel just comes right off, or it's not too hard. I will be frank, I have never boiled the peaches, put them in water, put them immediately in an ice cold bath, ice cubes and stuff like that, so it stops the cooking mechanism. So I have just really peeled these by hand. And so I just wanted to show you, because see, to me, the skin comes off. It takes a little more time, but see, I didn't do anything, and I just think, you know, this peel comes off kind of easy. And I just have always done it this way, but you do whatever works for you to get that skin off the peach. And depending on how hard it is, because you really don't want a hard peach, because then the peaches are too hard. But see, look at this. See that skin? It comes off really easy. Or at least for me. I don't mind peeling it. So you do whatever it takes. And I'm not great at slicing up peaches either. I'm always afraid I cut my finger. The other thing I have not been great at either, and I don't know if it's because my fingers are so short, but I'm not good at, like, see, because I don't have a long enough thumb. I'm not good at peeling it like that. I tell you the truth, I have never done that. So I'm just telling you, do whatever it takes to get that luscious peach fruit off of the pit. Well, that one got away from me, but that's okay. And that's why I have my cutting board here. So in case the slice is kind of tough, I can do that. So my peaches are all done. I've got 10 peaches in here. Let me, you know what, I gotta get another, maybe this bowl is it. Okay, this bowl right here. I don't wanna just have clumps of cornstarch in here. I use cornstarch because it helps thicken the juices and everything like that. I have about 2 big heaping teaspoons of cornstarch in here. I have found flour to be, I don't know, it doesn't make the peach juice clear enough. It still thickens it, but I don't know, it's just too pasty or whatever. So I'm using cornstarch this time, 2 heaping teaspoons. And so I'm gonna try and really mix that in with the sugar so it'll be incorporated a little bit more. I have slightly less than 1/2 cup of peaches because the other thing I really don't want is I don't want to have a sugary peach pie. I want to taste the peaches, and it's already going to be incorporated with a lot of juice. So I have slightly less than 1/2 cup, and I'm already debating because I had a peach. It tastes so good. So I would go anywhere from 1/3 to 1/2 cup, and it really depends on how sweet of a peach pie you want. So I'm just going to blend that up a little bit. Or mix it together, whisk it together. Where is my whisk? I didn't get it out. So I'm just gonna kind of use the spoon here. That way it'll be much easier to get all incorporated. I don't really like to use a lot of spices in here, but I think it enhances the peaches a little bit too. So I got a little bit of cinnamon. I would say no more than a teaspoon, maybe 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. And then the other thing I put in here too, I don't know, for some reason I kind of like a ginger. So I have like maybe an 1/8 teaspoon, a pinch of ginger. But you know what, you can use nutmeg too. So I got that incorporated. But in order to prevent my peaches all from turning brown, I have about a tablespoon or more of lemon juice. That'll help, hopefully, help get that all mixed in. Now I'm gonna add the sugar, spices, and cornstarch mixture. I'm just gonna gently and there we go. I'm gonna set that aside. I'm gonna get out my pie dough and we'll make the crust. Okay, I got all of my peaches cut up and they've got a little bit of sugar, cornstarch, and some spices, a little bit of ginger, just a hint, just a dash of ginger, and then cinnamon. And so now we're gonna do the pie crust. Pie crust is critical. I hope this one turns out. Because I'm only going to use half of it right now, I'm going to put the other half back in the refrigerator so it stays, cool. Get that ready here. I'm going to wrap the remainder up. I think I did that half, I hope. Because you really got to have enough for it. Yeah, I did. So I'm going to stick this back in the fridge and we'll get going on this one. So I floured the surface of my counter. Maybe you guys got something else that you can lay here. And I'm gonna put it in my pie crust, or my pie pan here. I thought I had a different color because I wanted more of a plain, but this is what I have. And in fact, I'm making this peach pie because I'm going over Jeremy and Audrey's house. I haven't seen them in a while. They've been on vacation. Deservingly so. Okay, this is more oval shape. What is happening here? Okay. And I haven't seen them in a while, so they invited Chris and I over for dinner. And I said, okay, going to the farmer's market, picking up peaches, and I will go ahead and make a peach pie. I decided on a peach pie over a cobbler because I haven't done this in a while. And I don't know. He gave me a reason to make a peach pie. So you definitely want this bigger than your pie dish, because that way you don't really want to stretch it, because when you stretch it to fit in the pie dish, it can have a tendency to shrink up, and then you really don't get the pie crust that you think you got. So this is definitely big. I am going, you know what? I'm going to try and roll it up on this, and then maybe put it here. And then to just lift it up a little bit. Can it fit in there? Without me having to stretch it, I think it did. There we go. Okay, I'm getting excited. I think this is gonna work. Okay. I hope. Okay. I am just going to let this rest a little bit because I'm afraid I want to make sure I have enough for the edges. So I just tore off some extras because it'll weight down the, if you let too much hang over the sides, you'll just pull the pie crust. So that's one reason to cut it. Okay, here we go. Let's load up the peaches. Oh, you know what? Before I do that, here's this pie crust. I'm gonna get this other one done so that I don't have the peaches just sitting in a pie crust. So let's roll out the other half. And by the way, my oven is preheating at 350 degrees. Okay, here's the other half. Tell you, the more and more I switch to a mixture of butter and Crisco, I am liking it. I am liking it a lot better. And I tell you, I wear aprons all the time because look at me. This one bib isn't staying up. Because of the way the counter is and because I'm so short, I mean, I lean over, my shirt's got, you know, blueberry, meat juices, salad dressing, oil and everything. So that's why I love all different kinds of aprons because I just like aprons and how they make me feel. So well, it's not my most perfect round crust, but I'm hoping it will work. Okay, can you see this over here? Yeah. Let me see if I can, well, no, I don't want to stretch it too much. Okay, let's load up the peaches. I might have cut up too much, but you know what? I would rather have I would rather have more peaches than not enough, so. And besides, that just gives me a little extra to eat all on my own. Okay. Get one stuck here. Maybe another one here. Maybe another one on this edge. Another one on this little edge here. Okay. Some of the juices in there. So look at that. I got a little bit of extra that I can eat all on my own. Okay, I got enough? I think so. Let me roll this, let me get this out of the, oh yeah, it is out of the way. Okay. Let me roll this up a little bit. on my handy dandy roller pen. Oh, there we go. Here we go. I can definitely cut a little bit of this off. Let me get my scissors. Food scissors. Let's just trim this a little bit. You know, the one thing I forgot to tell you, I should have done a little egg wash on the bottom crust, so that will help the two crusts, the bottom and the top crust, seal together better. So I didn't. We're just gonna have to hope that it works. Wait, a little bit more here. And then what I'm doing now is I'm just pinching the two crusts together. And if you feel like you got too much hanging out, just trim it some more. This is definitely a little much. So I'm gonna finish doing this and I'll be back. Okay, Amy Roloff's Little Kitchen, and we were baking a peach pie, and there's a couple of things that I also forgot to do. I love when I put all the ingredients and spices or whatever I need right here, but I am bound to always forget something. So I forgot the vanilla. If you want to add vanilla, feel free. Oops, that's my oven. If you want to add vanilla, feel free to add vanilla. Only what, about a teaspoon? 2 at the most, but I would say about a teaspoon of vanilla. I didn't do it here, but I'm not too worried about it because the peaches were farmer's market peaches. They were ripe enough to make a peach pie, and they have so much flavor in it. So I'm not too concerned, but it might be helpful to add vanilla. The other thing is the heat temperature of the oven. Usually when I make a pie, I don't always get my crust as brown as I would like it, that toasty, flaky, crust going on. And sometimes I have to put it on broil just to have it brown on top. So what I'm gonna do here with the oven is preheat it to 425, cook your pie, have it in the middle rack as best as you can, because I know all ovens are different. In fact, even this new oven in the new house, I find it different than my oven back home because it's only got 4 racks. So is one really in the middle? Because you're either, I don't know. But anyway, I put it in the middle as best I can. The pie goes in the middle of the rack. So 425, that'll give the chance for the pie crust to kind of seal in and bake and all of that other stuff. And then after about 20 minutes, turn it back down to 350 so the rest of the pie can finish cooking. The peaches will begin to cook. They'll be soft enough, but hopefully, depending on how ripe it is, they'll still have just that slight little bite. But most importantly, it'll help the juice to thicken up, and so you don't have a runny pie. I will have to show you this pie because I'm hoping I don't have runny juice. I always debate how much cornstarch. I'm hoping 2 tablespoons was enough because I've done it where my juice is so thick. It's like, did I just make jelly or jam, or it's too runny? So 2 heaping teaspoons of cornstarch I hope is enough. So anyway, what I'm doing now, I did a egg wash. I took 1 egg, a little bit of water, and I'm just gonna brush my crust. Now I did not do the slits in yet because I find doing it this way is easier and better first, and then I will put the little slots in there so some of that steam can come out. There we go. Of course, egg wash. I have a lot more egg wash left over. And then I'm going to sprinkle some sugar on top. I'm just going to sprinkle regular sugar because I didn't have any of the more coarse sugar around. So, regular sugar, that's what it'll have to be. So you sprinkle as much as you want on there. I like that sugar crusted pie topping. Okay, where's my knife? Here it is. So I'm just gonna make little slats into my pie crust. I think 5 is enough. There. Or you can make little crosses or little plus signs. That might be a little decorative. There we go. I wish I could tell you that my pies have a tendency to be consistent. Most of the time they do, but there's once in a while where I'm like, what did I do wrong? I did it according to what I've been doing. So anyway, peach pie, sticking it in the oven. 425 for about 20 minutes. Reduce the heat to 350 and cook it for another about 30 minutes. 30, 35, depending on the oven. So, let's go. I hope it turns out. Peach pie. I'm gonna put my timer on so that I don't have it on 425 for the whole time and then I have a burnt pie. So, I'll see you back here when the pie is all done. Well, we're back at Amy Roloff's Little Kitchen and I have changed because what I mentioned earlier is that I am taking this peach pie over to Jeremy and Audrey's house because Chris and I are going over there for dinner. I'm so excited because I get to see my grandkids too. Now, the crust, you know how I like it a little brown. The crust did turn a little more brown than I had anticipated. Because one thing I did forget, that when you put it at 425 for 20 minutes, then you turn down the oven temp to 300 for another about 30, 35 minutes. If you find that your crust is getting brown, be sure to put just a covering of foil over there, and that way it won't, burn or get too brown. Anyway, this is peach pie. Enjoy the summer. Enjoy those farmers market. Enjoy all the fresh fruits and vegetables. I am taking this over to Jared and Audrey's house. Amy Roloff's Little Kitchen. All the recipes you can find at amyroloffslittlekitchen.com, plus more. Enjoy! Oh, where's the wine? It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Okay.
We need a little thing of wine.
I think it's delicious.
You like it?
Yeah.
I do too.
Yeah.
I am a huge advocate for the homemade tomato sauce. Like, we didn't even put any like herbs or like nothing to fancy it up, but I just think like a
But you also
blended
did need
tomato.
salt and all
It's
that
just
stuff,
like nice and very like fresh tasting. I think.
I think
the
so too.
sauce
I
is
agree.
very like light and tomatoey. I don't know.
No,
think it's
I
good.
agree. And if you're gonna have pizza, and like we didn't add, well, I had Alfredo, but you may not necessarily need tomatoes on here.
Yeah.
And I agree. Making your own homemade sauce,
I think it's worth
there's
it.
a freshness, there's a element to it that just tastes like. Well, hi, I am Amy Roloff, and I'm in my little kitchen, Amy Roloff's Little Kitchen. And guess who's in my little kitchen? I am so excited. So I am definitely going to take advantage of my daughter Molly being in town, baking, cooking, and
For sure.
all sorts of stuff. And my daughter-in-law, Isabel, is in town, and so I'm going to definitely take advantage of her for the day. because you know me, one of my favorite places to be is in my kitchen. So today we are going to make pizza. And the reason I wanted to make pizza is because Molly loves to bake. She does well with yeast, and anytime I can have that experience with her and doing that, I will take advantage of it. So
Yeah.
thanks for being here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hopefully we'll have a good time. No, I should say hopefully you guys will have a good time, because you know I will.
Of course.
Molly's the
Oh.
baker. She's the one. She's
Yeah.
good at baking.
Pressure. Jeez.
No, but it's just fun.
It's
because
easier than people think, so.
yeah. Well, I just definitely, I realized that a couple of things that I made with yeast, I may have been doing it wrong, because I thought, I don't know where the little packet is, but I thought one little packet of yeast was 2 tablespoons, and it's like, no,
It's like 2
only
teaspoons.
1.
Yeah.
So I probably should have used a little more packets than I thought, so that's silly me. Anyway, so we're gonna make pizza, so we're gonna make our own pizza dough, and we're all gonna kind of have 3 individual pizzas. I mean, Chris is gonna have some of mine, and he likes meat, so we're gonna have chicken on mine. So I'm gonna create like an Alfredo sauce.
Mhm.
You guys are doing
More of a tomato-based sauce
Okay.
with some different veggies and.
And you're doing cheese. I'm doing vegan cheese.
Yeah.
So Isabel's gonna be mainly a vegan pizza.
Mm-hmm.
Molly's is gonna be a vegetarian pizza, and of course I'm meat. So anyway, we're gonna maybe try and have different slices of each pizza. But anyway, okay, Molly, the floor is yours, because we're making 1 pizza dough. We're gonna cut it in thirds, so we each have our own dough.
Yeah. So we got some warm water in the bowl already. So
it doesn't have to be hot.
I mean, I would all the recipes will call it warm. I call it hot because if it's just like lukewarm, that's probably not warm enough. But you want the temperature to be like around 100 to 110. Sometimes
Is this hot enough?
it's fine. Sometimes I measure it, sometimes I don't. I mean, we can probably heat it up more. It's like
Okay.
I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Well, we
Watch
can-
it not work now though.
Well,
After
you
I
can
say
put it
that.
in the microwave for a little
How-
bit.
how
if you
warm
want.
is it?
Do you have a thermometer? Do you want to
It's
test
not
it?
warm.
Because it has been sitting here for a little bit.
We could just do it.
Usually I just get it hot out of the faucet and then.
Okay, a digital thermometer is like the best thing on the planet. I think you told me that too.
Oh yeah.
Because if you're baking, it's important.
So because it might have cooled down since it's been sitting here. Oh. That's fine.
92.
It's in the 90s. Yeah. That's pretty
Let's
close.
zap it.
Okay.
Let's zap it. Let's zap it for 25 seconds. Watch it be too hot. So, you know what I would love to know from all of you guys is, what is your favorite pizza topping? What kind of pizza do you really, really like? Like, for instance, Chris will absolutely refuse to eat any pizza that has pineapple on it. It's like, that's like, ooh,
That's the number one
big no-no.
number one debate right now. Does pineapple belong on pizza?
I know. Didn't you read that on the
Some
internet or
some
something
people
like that?
say yes. Some people say no.
I say no.
You say no.
I'm not a pineapple on pizza.
I'm
Yeah.
allergic to pineapple, so even
See,
if I wanted it, I couldn't.
And I would love it,
Oh really?
but I'm okay without it.
I'm gonna try
It's not like I have to. Oh, should we stir it around?
if you want to.
Well, sometimes microwave. Oops.
Just about 105.
Yeah, we're about 104 and a half, so I think that's
Perfect.
a lot better than 93, so.
I
Okay,
mean,
so-
here's the thing: people back in the day didn't have thermometers to test their baking; they just did it by feel. So it's not quite, I don't think, as exact as people. You know
Oh,
what
really?
I'm saying? I mean, it's like you want it kind of in the range, but like,
Because every recipe that I have read, they said if you don't have your water hot enough for the yeast,
yeah.
then it deadens it. It doesn't have the power, you know,
I
to...
mean, I think it's probably better to go too cool than too hot, honestly,
Yeah.
because it'll just take longer to like activate if it's
Because
too
if you
cold.
do too hot, you
Too
kill
hot,
it.
you could kill it. Yeah,
Yeah.
So that, but
Okay. Okay, got it.
anyway.
So how much water did we do here?
So we did 2 cups of water.
Warm
and-
water.
Warm water, and then we are going to, I'm looking at my notes, pop the yeast in.
Do you need it
Oh,
closer?
and sugar. Yeah. So let me do the sugar first, actually, because I like to
So this
dissolve
is
it a little
about
bit.
2 tablespoons of sugar, 2 packets of yeast, and we used active dry yeast.
I'm going to dissolve the sugar a little bit. And then
Well, Isabel, thanks for coming.
Yeah.
pop yeast.
I love learning from Molly.
Jacob just got a promotion, so we're pretty excited about that too.
When Molly came to visit, she made some banana bread.
Oh,
And
yeah?
it's funny because I was like, okay, so we need to go buy a box. And she's like, girl,
No.
girl, I make it from scratch.
I don't think I've ever made banana bread from a box. I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Either,
I don't know what you're talking about.
I will admit, when the kids were younger, I made box cake because it was just quicker and
Box cake's
everything.
good.
Yeah,
though.
it's not bad.
Yeah.
But no, I make homemade cake. No,
Yeah.
all the time.
But I was like, over her shoulder, like, she's a magician.
But I think also when you have a lot of kids, I mean, making everything from scratch, it's not hard. It's the time you
Yeah.
don't have.
Yeah.
So a box cake was easier. I wish I would have made homemade frosting. Oh, but anyway, just other things.
There's some tricks you can do with box cake too, like add an extra egg or replace the oil with butter that makes it like richer, and it's easy. And I just made one last week for Joel's birthday.
So what are we doing here?
I popped the
doing?
yeast in, and then now you just wait a couple minutes until it gets like frothier stuff. So now is actually a good time, like if we're gonna make a sauce, like blend up the tomatoes, anything like that, and this can just like sit for a second. Or
Should I grab the tomatoes?
Do you want to do that? Start making the sauce?
Sure.
So what we're going to do here now, obviously having a jar of pizza sauce that works as well too. But I kind of like I like doing everything homemade as much as I can because I just learn a lot more from doing it that way and just the process of it all. So I'm going to make an Alfredo sauce and they're going to make a tomato-based pizza sauce. So, yeah, we can do that because how long do you think this will take?
I mean, you can kind of see it starting to bubble up and like there's that lump. You can see like little, bubble movements.
Oh, wow.
Okay, it's actually really going right now. This is
Okay, I've
this is
never
pretty
seen
exciting.
that. Let me bring one of you guys over here.
All these lumps just like exploded. You can see it's like moving.
Okay, people, this is like, I don't know about you, but I find this so exciting.
You have to look kind of closely, but
Yeah, get in there.
Sorry, my lighting's not the best.
I hope another.
Yeah, maybe another lump. It's like,
It's gone quiet.
I tell you, it
As we were
happened,
talking
people,
about
and it was the most exciting thing. Look at us. We're like kids in high school. What an experiment.
I mean, we can, while the dough's resting, we can do the sauce because this will be.
Why don't we do
I'm
that?
just gonna get this dry stuff kind of mixed in. Some of it's still dry. Yeah, look at that big old bubble.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's
And you
supposed
don't
to-
want to pop it, right?
I mean, it doesn't really
Not
matter.
right
It's
now,
not gonna
anyway.
hurt it really.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, you want it to be kind of frothy and bubbly. You should see like it's active, right? So it should be like doing stuff.
All I say is just really, I mean, there's a lot of
I can
great
see it.
yeast out there. We're using an active Red Star active yeast, but any good yeast. Check the due date. You don't want a due date that's like going to expire in a week.
So weird.
So should we get a fork? Do you need to mix it up with a fork or what do you do?
No, so after this, we just mix in a little bit of olive oil. I think 2 tablespoons. A lot of 2 tablespoons.
And this is a little, did you add the salt already?
That was sugar. So no, I haven't added the
Oh,
salt. We
yeah,
add
the
the salt
salt's over
actually to
there.
the flour.
Okay.
So
So why don't you do that, Izzy?
yeah, so we'll do 2 teaspoons salt in we have I think 4 cups of flour here.
Yes.
And we might add some more as we need the dough.
It's about 4 to 5 cups of flour, but if you need
2?
more flour, you get it.
Let's do 2.
And then I'll get a fork because we should stir that around.
Wow, this is like really bubbly. This is crazy.
Here you go.
They weren't kidding when they said active.
Yeah, you can see there's kind of like a layer of foam if you look around the edge.
Oh yeah, let me bring you guys over because if you're not used to working with yeast like me, do you see that little layer there? That's the foam on top. That means your yeast is working.
Yeah. And my yeast doesn't always bubble up quite this much, but you should see some movement to know that it's been activated. But it's just that easy. Okay, so I'm gonna
so
add.
thrilled.
I'm gonna add the
Hang
olive
on for
oil.
just a sec.
Okay.
Okay, good job.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
So now
a couple
we'll
of
just do
tablespoons.
2 tablespoons. Let me use this thing. 2 tablespoons olive oil. Well, I didn't know if the little flap would just automatically
Unflap.
open. Yeah.
So 2 tablespoons of olive oil.
Yes.
Now, You didn't come up with this dough recipe.
No.
Did you get it off the internet or something like
I found
that?
it on the internet. It was
Okay.
one that the dough doesn't need to have rising time.
Okay.
So you can make it, like I usually just, because it's what's convenient, we'll make it like maybe an hour before dinner and we will let it rest for a while, which is fine. It's turned out good, but you don't have to. It turns out fine
Okay,
and
good.
it can be really quick.
But it's okay to let the dough rest.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Okay.
turned out good whenever we've done
Alright.
it, so.
Cool.
So then you
So it's pretty flexible. So I just kind of mixed in the olive oil a little bit, and now we'll add our flour.
Do you add it all at once?
I add a little at a time, and actually,
here.
should we stir it with that spoon, or do you have like a spatula or like a wooden? Because it'll get pretty thick.
I have this.
If it's sturdy, that should be fine.
I have this.
Add some of that. Sweet. When you guys want to kind of just mix it, and then I'll do a little more. I like to go slow just because it's easier to mix bit by bit. No, I just mean like add the flour slowly.
That's probably smart, so it's not overwhelming.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And especially if you do this in your mixer. Can you do this in a mixer?
I've never tried it. It's just easier by hand for me. But
Yeah.
I'm sure if you had a dough hook.
Yeah. So you could probably do this in your mixer as well.
Yeah.
And to tell you the truth, in my mixer, I want to get a glass bowl because metal bowl, you know, they say, oh, room temperature, let it rise. It's like the metal bowl gets cold.
That's interesting, yeah.
And so I want a glass bowl where you can, I don't know. Am I doing this right, Molly?
Yeah, so kind of just, go in a circle to it should start to form a ball once you kind of mix it around. And it's usually a little bit sticky once you get everything mixed in. Hopefully I'm remembering everything right. Yeah, it's looking good. It'll start to come together.
Mm-hmm. I love this wooden spatula. That was the first time I've used it. I bought some new stuff.
Nice.
So it's getting sticky.
And I'm gonna get just a little bit more flour. So what we do once it starts to come together and sort of form a little dough ball is that we're gonna turn it out, put a little flour on the counter, turn it out, and knead it for just a couple minutes until it smooths out. So
You add anything to it, like any seasoning?
we don't. I mean, you could if you wanted like herbs or something.
Or like
Probably be really good.
Parmesan.
I've seen
Yeah.
like rosemary.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We do that.
I think this would be a good time. I think what it would be best is add it to the flour so that it all incorporates. Say
Mixes.
here, it might go in clumps,
Yeah.
Okay.
you know?
Yeah.
So if you wanted like more of a garlic crust or Parmesan,
would be good.
Yeah, 'cause
Or-
I was telling Molly, Jacob and I make our own pizzas, but we don't
Okay,
make
that's
our own
pretty
dough
good.
yet.
You don't want to overwork it too much.
yeah, that is key. I like to get every little bit because,
Yeah.
you know.
So we'll just dump it out. Izzy, do you want to do the honors or?
Get
You
your
got- you
hands
got your
floured.
rings on too,
Yeah,
so I
maybe.
don't know
Here, I'll do it.
if. Okay. Go for it. And you just kind of, if you need more
But
flour.
don't get out of
I
the
want
way.
to watch and learn. That's what I want to do. From the masters.
Yeah.
Okay. See, she knows what she's doing.
And really, you don't have to work it too much. It's just enough to kind of make it into a smooth. So once it feels kind of like a smooth dough ball, then we're done
Could you?
pretty much.
Is this the same concept of just making your own bread?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much, yeah. 'Cause the thing that's crazy about bread is it's like, I mean, this has olive oil and sugar, so it's got more ingredients than a lot of breads, but you're working with like the same 3 or 4 ingredients, and there's so many different breads and it's like, how is there so much variety with like kind of the same couple deals?
Because I'm just looking there and it's like, oh, it's just a
Yeah.
loaf of bread.
Yeah, that looks great. Feels smooth. Can I feel it?
Does it feel okay?
Feels great. I don't know. I'm not super picky with
Yeah,
my.
she looks
Looks
good.
a little lumpy. And
That's
sometimes a mixer would
Well, these pieces are.
Oh,
okay.
yeah, that's
I
probably
almost
good.
no, that's fine. I almost wonder if we work too much flour into it. I feel like it's a little stickier normally when I make it, but that's fine. Let's plop it in here for it to rest for a second while we make our sauces. And I'm actually
This is kind of fun. I was trying to,
Yeah.
you know.
flip it.
Ooh.
Yeah. Whoa.
Whoa, okay.
Because that's when you do
It's
the
not
like.
good to
the
overdo
spinning.
your dough.
Yeah, the thin
How
part.
you like how you stretch it.
So
You
usually
want to feel it?
it's a little, yeah. Oh yeah.
Isn't that fun? I mean, come on now.
Dude.
This is why dough is fun.
It's pretty sticky, Mom.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean,
But you said it's
I can see what she meant, though.
yeah.
And then we
Okay.
pop it in there. I usually put a little oil in my bowl just so it,
Then you do both sides, don't you?
if you want to. We don't always do that.
I don't know. That's what they say.
Sure.
Usually. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna, like Molly said, we don't have to rest the dough, but we're gonna do it so that we can get our sauces made. So they're doing a tomato base. I'm gonna do our Alfredo, and hopefully we'll do a little video of that as well. So
Yeah.
okay. Okay, so I'm having Alfredo sauce. I have my butter heating up here. Molly is getting the tomatoes ready and doing her red sauce, but I've got some butter in here, some flour, 2 tablespoons of butter, 2 tablespoons of flour. I have a little bit of salt here. I'm gonna add a little bit of pepper. Cook the flour a little bit to get the kind of flour taste, cook out the flour taste. And make sure you break up the flour so you don't have little clumps. I don't know, I may need a little more flour. I don't think 2 tablespoons is enough, but we'll see. But we're also adding Parmesan cheese. I'm gonna slowly add in the milk. This is going to be the Alfredo sauce. And then I'm gonna cut up the chicken. So we're getting our pizzas ready. And we also got a phone call because I have very important people in my little kitchen. Oh yeah, it's starting to thicken up now. I'm gonna add in the cheese. Oh yeah, this is thick enough. Because obviously you don't want runny Alfredo sauce. So depending on the thickness you want, I think this will be enough. And if I can show you, I mean, it's really kind of thickening up. And it'll also thicken when you put it on the pizza and cook it. Okay, I'm gonna turn off the heat because I think this is enough, but look at how smooth it is. Oh, luscious. Okay, we've got some pizzas going on here, don't we?
Yeah, how do I do
Okay,
this?
this is the top button.
You just press the top button?
Yeah.
What's the button?
Don't lift it up. The bottom button is if you want more power. So we just did a can of Marzanta? What's the name of those
Full
tomatoes?
peeled tomatoes.
No, Marzano, best. San Marzano tomatoes. They're the best. It's kind of like a Roma tomato, but comes from Italy, but if that's a good tomato to use. I use it for all my marinara sauce, pizza sauce, whatever. So that's what Molly's doing. We just put you can do whatever you want, but put it in a little tomato paste.
Yeah.
But you'd be amazed at the richness of the sauce. And I just got done making my Alfredo sauce. Then we're gonna get going on our little
Okay.
pizza.
What do I
Are
do
you
with
done?
it? Yeah, what do I do with it?
Izzy, can you unplug it? We'll just put that in the sink and
Okay. Oh, yeah, it's just like a little blender down there.
yeah.
Cool. Cool, cool. Wow, our dough got big. We probably should have covered it.
So did it get this big?
And look at that, it unhooks.
Well, it is also a double batch.
It unhooks so you wash the blade and everything.
Oh. Okay.
So what are we doing now?
Okay, what do we do now? Oh, let me cut up the chicken real quick.
Okay.
Okay, can I do that?
Perfect.
So anyway, we're back in Amy Roloff's little kitchen and we just got done making Alfredo sauce, which I think you'll see a little clips of that video. Molly just took a can of tomatoes with a little tomato paste and an immersion blender and made that. So when you make your pizza sauce, you can obviously use a jar or add any other seasonings to the sauce, whatever. I mean, pizza, like half the things you do in cooking, you can really make it your own.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, the recipes, and I look on so many people on the internet, it's just to spur inspiration, ideas, and you know, stuff like that. Because you may not always have the ingredients, but you can, you know, substitute it for something else. So
Yeah.
anyway, I only had 2 big stones, pizza stones. Molly's gonna use it on a metal one, and so we're just gonna start prepping this, getting the dough ready. Show everyone the dough. I mean, look at how much
got
that pop.
Big, which yeah, you don't necessarily again have to let it rise,
Yeah.
but we did, and it did. So
Because we were busy talking and getting everything else already.
should I just put it on the counter?
Well, do you want to do it on here and just
Sure.
cut it? Do you think it needs
Wow,
flour?
look at that.
Do we need a little flour?
If you to make it easier to touch, you can, but
I don't know.
we don't
It's up
have
to
to.
you. Here, use this.
Do you want to do 4 or 3? How thick do you want your?
I don't know. What do you guys want?
I would probably do 4.
Okay.
Because you have an extra there.
Yeah, I would probably do 4.
Yeah, perfect. Just yeah. Thank you. And so
Okay, we
Oh.
might be. Oh, wait a minute. Should we do anything to our what we're putting our pizza
Put a
on?
little cornmeal down. I'm gonna do olive oil since I've got a metal tin.
Here, can you do a little olive oil on this one? Okay. Just use your dough
now, should I put it?
or
Or
fingers.
no.
I don't think the stones need. You just want to do probably a little cornmeal on the stones.
Where's the cornmeal?
Oh, over there,
right
hang
over
on.
there. Maybe I could even do some. Well, no, just
Do you want to use a little oil? I don't think the oil needs a
no.
stone.
Because the
Just
purpose
sprinkle
of the
this on.
stone is
Grab it with
it.
my hands?
Oh, here.
The purpose of the stone is it draws the moisture out, so I don't think you want to cover it in oil.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
And then I just kind of start spreading it out once you're ready.
Do I want to mix the cornmeal with the dough?
Oh no, I would just probably spread it on like how she's doing there. Just kind of spread it out.
It helps give a crispier bottom,
Do I
and
need
it
more?
creates little eye pockets. Or little eye pockets.
That looks good to me though.
It creates little air pockets so your crust, and then just set it in the middle and just spread it out. And if it keeps bringing back, see, I'd rather have a double one. I mean, look at how
Oh.
thin it is here.
Well, you've got really thick edges. I mean, you could add more. But sometimes if you, usually we spread it out kind of as much as it feels like it'll go, and then if you let it rest for a few more minutes, it'll be easier to, depends on how.
Are you gonna do the flipping thing that you were doing
I
earlier?
don't know. but
In the
I got too thin of a bottom, Molly.
Okay, you can add more, Mom.
What do I do?
Well, so your edges are, like, look, you got these really thick spots here.
I think you almost need to flour your fingers so it doesn't stick.
Right there is a little wet. Over here is not too bad.
Here, do you have any extra?
Yeah, that's a little thin there. It's harder to spread on the stones. I haven't used those before.
Maybe it
Because look,
is.
it's kind of sticking to the stone a little bit. Maybe what we should have done is
oil it.
we'll spread them out somewhere else and then transfer
Yeah.
them to the stone is what we should have done, because I think it's difficult to spread it on the stone.
Oops.
I mean, I'm not having two.
I think it is.
Well, that's a good learning experience. I hadn't used those before.
I mean, mine looks okay.
Yeah, yours is looking good.
A little thin.
I'm
some
gonna do
spots.
mine on the counter, people. I redid it. Little cornmeal's gonna be mixed in, but I think that'll be okay. See, you didn't think it was sticky. I think it's stickier now, Molly.
Yeah, the dough. Okay.
Okay. Just like this?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be perfect.
No, that looks great.
Okay.
And then I think what our plan was, correct me if I'm wrong, Mom, we were gonna pop these in the oven for just like 5 minutes to kind of set the dough.
Well, that's what you had suggested, and I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the ovens are ready, so I'm gonna go.
I think it's 5 minutes.
Yeah, just a couple minutes.
Wait a minute, I'm not ready.
Well, we've got multiple ovens here.
Okay. See, even pizza dough, it can sometimes be a little tricky.
You want some help?
Why is mine all lopsided?
I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect.
Oops.
I know, mine's not even a circle. What in the world?
Oh yeah, let me see your technique. How are you doing this?
I don't know.
So like you can go like from here and move it that way, you know, you can kind of push the dough. If you're just gentle, you can work it from one end
Maybe
to
I'm
the
too
other.
tough with the dough.
I think you're kind of smooshing it into the counter a little bit. You gotta be careful there.
Oh. Well, I put flour on it. Oopsie doo.
Oh no, you're fine. It's good.
Maybe I should take the other one and start over.
I think it's fine.
I don't think so.
What do you want to do with the
Whatever
other
you
one?
want. Whatever you want to do.
Do you want to still make the other one just so that you have an extra?
Yeah. Where is the other one? Here. Do you want it?
Okay, I think I'm good here.
There you go. You got it.
Where'd
Yeah.
the
Look
thing
at
go?
that. It's right here, Mom. This.
Oh,
Look, you got this.
There we go.
okay. Do pizza dough like my daughter and daughter-in-law, not like me.
The point of pizza, making your own pizzas at home, is that it's fun. That's the whole
Yeah.
deal.
Maybe
So
I'm
you
too
just-
rough with it.
See, like normally what I do is I just kind of start going out from the middle, and then I don't know, you just kind of keep pulling it out in a circle fashion.
Though I think this one might be thicker than ours.
Yeah, this one does look a little thicker. Maybe we didn't cut them evenly.
Oh dear.
I feel like it was easier on this guy.
Yeah, it slides pretty easy on these.
Maybe I just have to read up on how to use a stone.
I mean, it's awesome. When you said pizza stones, I'm like, what? I didn't know. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I also think this is a very good pizza dough, so follow the pizza dough, and you guys might be better than I at really forming your pizza.
Did you find it on Pinterest?
I don't remember where I found it. I think it was just some Googling. We had tried a
See,
couple
this is
different
so
recipes.
thin.
Well, because you got some thick areas here, so you just don't want to pull the,
You know what? I think that's what I'm doing. I'm pulling it too
because you
much.
don't want to pull the thin, you just kind of want to like smush it slowly toward, if there's a
But
thick
it's sticking
part.
to my hands.
Oh. See, I don't touch it
'Cause I
really
think,
long enough for it to stick.
When I've done it, I've wet my fingers a little.
Oh, interesting. You've wet them? Huh. I haven't tried
Okay, sorry. This pizza dough that Molly has is a little better than mine, so I think I'm gonna go with hers.
that. Well, we're gonna cook all of them. You can make
Yeah.
both
Look
books.
at all those posts.
That way Chris can have some too.
Okay.
Speaking of Chris.
Sorry, Chris.
What do you mean, sorry?
Come check it out.
What is that? Are you going abstract on me, babe?
You might as well just start doing
Look at
like,
Molly's.
do a state. You might
Yeah.
as well create it into Michigan or something.
Oh, I know.
Make it into something.
Yeah.
In the tool shed?
No.
The road's left open.
No, I probably popped open it.
So we're just getting dry. Let's see how this
Yeah.
is still moist.
Touching it quite a bit.
Yeah. Okay. Pizza dough. Here we go. 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Like Molly said, it's about having fun.
Oh, those are two cups.
Here. You want to put it on the bottom?
Oh, I didn't know if they were. It looked really close.
Should we check ours?
I mean, maybe.
1 minute left on ours.
We'll say hi,
Okay.
Chris.
Well,
He's still hurting. This dog is still hurting. big time.
Okay,
Okay, well,
here we go.
my daughter and daughter-in-law did a whole heck of a lot better in their pizza crust than I did. I'm not gonna lift it up because it is hot, but this looks like some blob of a dough.
It looks fun, is what it
And
looks.
this one over here is in a round circle. We might have left it in a little bit too long, but that's okay. So I'm doing Alfredo. You guys
Yeah.
are doing what? So we can
Alright,
just talk
go for it.
about what
We got lots of different toppings here.
I've got an Alfredo sauce. I'm gonna kind of do 2 pizzas since I kind of messed up. And there goes Chris walking in. Hey, babe.
Pizza. Oh, we got a red sauce and a white sauce going.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Mix into that.
Wow.
I don't know how thick to go.
However thick you want. That's fine to me.
Mine has valleys and
That
mountains
captures
in the
more
crust.
toppings.
You know?
That's true.
Yeah. So yours is gonna have little pockets of surprise.
I don't know, babe.
Okay.
I don't know, babe.
So what state or animal were you trying to shape here?
You know the movie The Blob, or you know
Yeah.
something. That's what it reminds me.
That's what I told her at that point. Just go with the state of Michigan or something.
Yeah.
Splattered
Or
in
you
there.
know, what odd state do we have in our?
Oh,
So anyway,
Greater
but I got
Idaho.
chicken.
wow.
Yeah. Here you go.
Liberty State.
What is it?
No.
Do you not leave a crust? I guess your crust is a
Oh.
little.
Yeah.
Your face got a
I
little
don't-
red being outside.
Yeah, just for a little bit. I've got more work to do on the pond. I can't imagine that you could really go wrong. I mean,
That's what I think.
I don't know if I've ever had a bad pizza. It's still gonna taste
That's
good.
kind of
Yeah.
how I feel.
You gotta just
Yeah.
go for it.
Oh,
Pizza's
you trying to be
pizza.
nice to me.
I'm saying no matter what, babe, I'm sure I'll eat it.
That means if it's not good, that means it was really not good.
Okay,
I think
well
I'm
I'm
gonna add a
done
little
with
bit
this.
more.
So
Okay.
this is what I'm gonna put on ours. I'm gonna put chicken, little sun-dried tomatoes, green onions, maybe red onions, some garlic, mushrooms, spinach, a little yellow pepper. Is that good?
Sounds great. Good job. All right.
Okay,
Looking
babe.
forward to the finished product. Yeah.
Okay.
Are you gonna just eat this to yourself?
Molly, if you guys
Not the
didn't
whole
see this,
thing, but-
this is a behind the scenes camera thing. Molly forgot, as I would have, that the things were hot, so she burnt her finger.
I've done that a number of times. I don't know what it is. I just forget.
Okay, the bake debate, well, I hope it's okay. Is it okay, your finger?
Yeah, no, it's fine.
I think the biggest debate is, do you put the toppings on and then the cheese, or the cheese first?
I usually put a little sprinkle of cheese
I do
and
too.
then my toppings and then my main cheese because I feel like sandwiching it helps. I'm also thinking that with the spinach, it's probably good to have it like under something so it doesn't like char or like over bake because it's so light.
It
Like
could-
I would
yeah.
put it like on a lower level. I don't know. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't know.
Rather than just putting the spinach right on top.
Oh, I would too. I would
Yeah.
do it like you said, a little cheese. So, Isabella's doing vegan cheese. We're gonna do the regular mozzarella. So I'm just gonna sprinkle on it because I agree. I think the toppings need something to adhere to.
I think so too.
And you know what, guys? I think I'm gonna add a little bit of Italian seasonings
Okay.
just to have a little spice to this. Okay. There's ours over there. Can you hand me some more spinach?
Mhm.
And we've got a lot more spinach, guys,
There
so.
you
I don't like the stems on them.
Boom.
Oh, look at this.
You like that?
This is so fun. Who cares what shape your pizza crust is in?
Exactly.
Okay, so daughter and daughter-in-law, what is going on in life? Anything? Joel's finishing up his MBA.
Yeah.
Big congrats. Jacob got a promotion.
Yeah.
Your art, Izzy, going good?
Oh yeah.
Going well?
Going well.
I think we need some more spinach.
There's just gonna be so many toppings.
I know, that's why I like to keep it. I like to keep it kind of simple. So for my little spice, I'll do a little red onion.
Well, I don't know where my Italian seasonings
Oh my
went, so I'm
gosh.
just gonna add a little thyme.
We should get a picture of them all. They're so cute.
Oh, I think so too. Anybody want anything?
What do you mean?
Oh no, I'm good.
What is that?
Thyme?
Oh yeah, I'll do some time.
Okay. I like spreading the meat so that you have something of every little topping in every bite.
Yeah, that's important.
Oops, I need more spinach. Can you hand me the thing of spinach?
It's mine.
Thank you. Oh yeah. Look at that. Oh, how pretty, pretty, pretty.
Ooh, it's gonna be so yummy.
Okay.
What? Pretty, pretty. Who's pretty? Oh,
We got a little fresh minced garlic too. I don't know if you
yeah, I
mentioned
want
that.
some of
but
that.
Don't forget about that.
I want some of
Green
that.
onion.
I'm gonna do a little bit more cheese here.
I need another thing of spinach. Okay, here I go.
Okay. Boom.
Not yet. Don't wait for me.
I'm gonna move one of the oven racks.
Candy. Oh yeah.
Sun-dried tomatoes,
Yes.
guys. These are powerful.
So not too much.
I mean, unless you don't mind the intensity of it. You need more?
No, this is perfect. And pass the time when you have the time.
Pass the time when you have the time.
Yours looks great.
Okay.
Okay. Should we
Here you
take
go.
some photos of our creation?
Oh, I am. A little garlic here. I hope I put enough sauce on mine. But I used it all up, so I guess it is enough.
Okay. How's your finger?
It's
I
fine.
know.
I didn't burn it actually very bad at all. Last summer when I did that, it was.
Do we have any
blistering.
more yellow onion or yellow
Yeah.
pepper?
Mhm.
Okay, thank you. Oh, mushrooms. I need mushrooms.
It's
Okay,
pretty.
I am going to make this pizza dough again because
Sometimes it takes a couple tries to
Yeah.
get it how you want it to be.
I need to perfect in making this.
Yeah, and it's a little different. Like, how long do how long you let it rise? It'll act a little different. Or putting
Yeah.
oil down on the pan if you're not, or using a pizza stone. Like that all can affect the end product. So
You're right.
how much you need it, like.
Let's do it.
Can you guys put mine in too?
Can you
You set a timer on that, or?
Yeah.
I have a timer on.
Can you open the bottom one?
Here, I have this timer.
Yeah.
I did have a timer. Where'd it
Gosh,
go?
I don't know. If
Oh, here it is.
It's like hot in here.
Well, we have the oven on. It's hot outside. And...
Nothing to say. Oh yeah, let's do a timer.
Okay, I've got the timer on. 10 minutes. We'll see you guys back. Okay. Well, I will tell you this, Molly, definitely you have had a lot more experience for your figuring out this whole pizza thing.
I think
But-
it'll look great.
I do
Yeah.
too. I think they'll taste great, but I think I don't know about you, Izzy, but what I'm noticing is that I've got to read up on cooking a pizza and using a pizza stone for various things, because it may be better if we do heat it up first and then
Yeah.
do this, or I'm not sure, but anyway.
Yeah.
Well, here, let's get some plates out. Can we have a piece? Okay, you guys first.
Go for it.
There's the pizza cutter. Sorry, I only have one,
That's fine.
you know. But anyway, what I would say is that, you know, you guys have all made pizzas, or many of you. I would love to hear what are some of your favorite toppings. What is the pizza dough that you like to use if you're making it from scratch? This has been a great, fun experience in the kitchen. I love the moments and the memories that, you know, I share or get with my daughter Molly and my daughter-in-law Izzy and all of my kids, really. So anyway, this has been really, really fun.
Yeah.
So we're gonna just kind of take a piece and kind of take a bite and see if we actually like our creations.
See how we like it.
There we go.
Here, let me see. Do you need, I don't have, the only thing I may have is something like this, Izzy.
Yeah, that would be good.
Here.
There you go, Mom. I'm not sure how you cut that.
Yeah, how
Hack
do
off
I?
one of the lumps.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go this.
Hack off one of the lumps.
And then just
That's the bottom. Oh, see, yeah.
cut like that.
A little more on the bottom.
Yeah.
Cut like that. I think I would really prefer thinner dough, but we might have let the pizza dough rise too much. I don't know,
I'm
but
wondering also if you use a rolling pin, like Chris was saying, to get it more
Yeah.
evenly flat. Might help.
yeah.
Bon appetit.
I think it's too hot to.
Is it?
It might be.
Oh, where's the wine?
It's what time is it?
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Okay.
We need a little thing of wine.
I think it's delicious.
You like it?
Yeah.
I do too.
Yeah.
I mean,
I am a huge advocate for the homemade tomato sauce. Like, we didn't even put any like herbs or like nothing to fancy it up, but I just think like a
but you also
blended
didn't need
tomato.
salt and all
It's
that
just
stuff,
like
yeah.
nice and very like fresh tasting. I think.
I think
the
so, too.
sauce
I
is very
agree.
like light and tomatoey. I don't know.
No,
think it's
I
good.
agree. And if you're gonna have
I-
pizza, and like we didn't add, well, I added, I had Alfredo, but you may not necessarily need tomatoes on here.
Yeah,
And I agree. Making your own homemade sauce,
I think it's worth
there's
it.
a freshness, there's a element to it that just
Mhm.
tastes like, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, I think it's good. How'd your cheese turn out?
Really good.
Mhm.
It usually doesn't melt, but it did.
Yeah, I think
The dough's got a good flavor though.
it really does. It's a thicker dough and stuff, but you know what? That's why I love being in the kitchen. It may not turn out, you know, nice and pretty and perfect all the time, but it always tastes good. Go to my YouTube channel at Amy Roloff's Little Kitchen, or you can go to amyroloffslittlekitchen.com. You'll find this recipe, the video, and all of the other recipes and videos over there. So from my little kitchen to yours, I hope you keep enjoying gathering around the table, and we'll see you guys later. Bye. Okay. You want to cut your burger in half?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so do I. Hopefully I'll be able to do this well.
Those are good.
Hey, hi everyone. I am Amy Roloff and I'm in my little kitchen. I kind of forgot that today was going to be kind of cold. In fact, the next 2 days are going to be kind of cold because I am kind of making a very easy, simple dinner for Chris and I. And I might be having summer on my brain because we're down to like low 40s, 30 degrees. Half the country is like 2 below. And I'm making hamburgers. We're gonna have what I am calling ham, quotation, ham burger. So we're gonna take some ground beef. We're gonna take some, hopefully this is good, like Black Forest roasted ham, thinly sliced, some provolone cheese. I think a Swiss cheese would go good with this, or Gruyere, that kind of cheese. I don't know. I didn't pronounce that right. Some of those French words or Italian words or whatever just get me all tongue-tied. Anyway, I'm gonna put my glasses over there. So we're gonna make a hamburger for dinner tonight, and I thought, well, what can I go with it? Of course, homemade fries or potato wedges is really what I'm gonna call them. But I thought it'd be kind of neat to, just to keep the skin on, roast them up, saute with a little salt and pepper and garlic powder, and even either smoked or hot Hungarian paprika, I thought would be good as well. And for dessert, I still have my s'more cookies left over. So obviously I am really thinking about summer. So I'm gonna try and get these potatoes in the oven here, because those will take about 15, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes. They're thinly sliced, so I used this kind of cutter because it has like the little ridges on it. And if you can see that, I don't know, I just thought it'd be kind of looking like a big, huge French fry. So I thought that'd be kind of cute. And then I'm just gonna create like a little spread, a little sauce for the buns. I'm gonna do a little bit of mayo, a little bit of Dijon mustard. I'm gonna chop up fine a little bit of dill pickle, some garlic powder in there, maybe hot paprika, because I think I might put smoked paprika on the fries. So, we're in the middle of winter. Why not think of summer? So we're making hamburger tonight. So we're in my little kitchen and we're gonna get these fries going, because it is a summer meal in the middle of winter. Hey babe, you want some fries?
You got it, man.
I don't know, a lot of them. Chris is over there by the dining room table figuring out our big motorcycle trip that we're taking to Alaska in June. I don't know, if I think I'm cold now. Ooh, gonna be a little chilly on that bike, I have a feeling. So, I mean, it's just the two of us. I don't think we need that many potatoes, probably. I wonder if I could slice this one a little thinner. I don't know if I can do it with this. Oops. I don't think I can. Well, not with that knife either. Okay, this will be good. Some of them will be a little thicker than others, but I think we'll be okay. Maybe I'll do this potato too. We're gonna cut the ends off. Okay. Just get a few more potatoes in here. We're gonna drizzle them with a little bit of oil, a little bit of salt and pepper, and a few seasonings. I mean, if you wanted to fry these, this would be okay too. I kind of like baked. These are russet potatoes. And for me, it's a little less work, besides having the big pot of oil. And if I had a little more time, maybe. But you know what? My oven is going to be heating up my kitchen a little bit. So I think that's pretty good. There we go. Well, you know what? If you have leftover, oops, get that pickle back here. If you have leftover fries, guess what you can do with them? Because they're already seasoned and cooked. You can chop them up and make like a little potato hash for breakfast and serve it with eggs. Sometimes leftovers make for good breakfast. Anyway, okay, here we go. We're just gonna drizzle this little sheet pan with a little bit of oil. I'm just gonna kind of mix that up a little bit. So they're kind of a little bit covered. Of course, I just got my hands all oiled and I gotta do the seasonings. But okay, there we go. We're just gonna sprinkle a little bit of garlic. So we're gonna have a little bit of garlic fries. This is my smoked. I'm making sure I get the right spice because yesterday, in fact, I'm working on this recipe. Yesterday, I made kind of like this rice bowl with fish and like a curry sauce over it with spinach and grated carrots and so forth. So I thought I was using paprika, but I actually was, sprinkled a little bit of cumin in it. And I thought, okay, cumin, it's not gonna hurt anything too much. So I'm making sure I'm looking at my spices and not getting mixed up and using cinnamon. that would happen to me, people, I tell you. Okay, I got garlic powder. Oh, my salt. A little bit of salt and pepper. So I think this, well, I guess I should explain to you. Let me get this going first. Because this may take a few minutes. And Chris told me he was hungry. So I gotta get moving. Okay, here we go. I'm roasting these. Ugh. I'm roasting the potatoes on about 425 degrees, and I'm thinking they may take maybe about 15 minutes. I'll check it after 15, 20 minutes. But we're gonna get going on the rest of this dinner here. Let me throw these potato peels away. Well, one of the reasons that I was inspired about making a hamburger a little bit different is because Chris and I were filming with Zach and Tori and family, and we had ordered lunch. And so Chris and I decided to, just split a hamburger, but they called it hammy burger or hammy hamburger or something like that. It was so good. I thought, oh, I could replicate this in my own way. So that's why we're doing this hamburger thing. I just thought it was very tasty. We liked it. So I'm gonna cut up this dill pickle, and you know what? This dill pickle was given to us by someone we know because she canned her own pickles, and this happens to be a dill pickle. And I thought, oh, perfect. I'll just use a dill pickle. And this is gonna be kind of our spread. I wanted to get all of this done before I got my hands into forming hamburgers. I have a little bowl here. It's just gonna be Chris and I, so I'm not gonna make a huge amount of spread for the sandwiches. And we're gonna grill the buns because I think that's always great. You have this really big hamburger, and I often don't like a big hamburger on a very soft bun because it kind of smushes it and your bun goes really flat. And I think sometimes by toasting it, it kind of holds up, your bun holds up a little better. So I'm just gonna really try and mince this one dill pickle. Break up some of the richness of the ham, the cheese, the burger, the beef. We're gonna add a little, dill to me is a little acidity. Along with, Dijon mustard. And we're gonna have garlic floating through here because I like garlic. And I think Chris does too. Okay, here we go. Okay, we're gonna add that in there. We're gonna add in a little bit of mayo. Since it's only the two of us, I'm just gonna add, I don't know, maybe 2 tablespoons. I'm gonna add in a little bit of pepper. I know the mayo already has salt plus the dill, but I'm just gonna add a dash of salt along with, what did I do on there? I did smoked. I am going to do a little bit of hot paprika. I always add in an extra vowel somehow. Who knows why? We're gonna add in a little bit of Dijon mustard. We're pretty much eyeballing it here. And a dash, boop, of Worcestershire sauce. So let's get this all. Okay, there we go. Let me taste. Oh, this is really good. It's tangy, it's very good. I'm loving the dill pickles in there. I'm gonna add just a little bit of garlic. Comes out fast. Now, sometimes I would put grilled onions on this hamburger, but Chris doesn't like onions, so I'm not gonna bother with it just for myself for tonight. So we're just gonna go on right here. I don't know why. Oh, I know why. You know what? I think I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit of sesame seeds in there. Why? You know, I don't know. I think a little sesame seeds or flaxseed, it gives that little crunch, because I do not have any sesame seeds on my bun. And I don't feel like buttering the buns and melting butter on top of them. I mean, I guess I could toast them in the oven. Okay, we're gonna, like I said I would grill onions, but I don't feel like it right now for these hamburgers. So I'm just gonna slice up as thin as possible, a few slices of onion for me. Just really thin. I was gonna use purple onions, but I don't think that'll work. I think a white onion's better. Okay, that's enough there. Okay, let's get going on making hamburgers. Hi, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you are enjoying it, and I would really appreciate it if you liked it and subscribed to it. And oh, don't forget to click that little bell up there, and you'll be notified of future videos that are new and coming on my YouTube channel. So thank you so much for that. And I would really appreciate it if you shared the video and let other people know, and encourage them to subscribe and like the videos as well. So anyway, thank you, and back to the video. Okay, so making hamburgers to me is pretty basic, but you do wanna, I do anyway, I do want to salt and flavor my meat just a hint. I don't want to over flavor it because sometimes it's not only the meat, but it's everything else that you put with it. So I'm just going to add a little bit of salt to this, a little bit of pepper. I'm going to continue on with some of the seasonings that I use for the potatoes and even for the sauce, the bread sauce or whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to add a little bit of garlic, and I'm going to go ahead and add hot Hungarian paprika. I want to leave the smoked paprika for the potatoes. So it's very simple. I mean, if you want to add other seasonings to this, feel free. I mean, the variations, as we know, that you could add to hamburger, it's unbelievable to me. But sometimes simple is better. And you can make this hamburger recipe any time of the year, especially during the summer. Just a little bit of garlic there. Gotta make sure I get the right one. And a little bit of hot Hungarian paprika. And why hot? Because I think it adds just a little bit of spice. So I'm gonna break up this meat. Make sure some of this seasonings gets all spread in here. And just remember though, get to know the fat content of the meat you're working with. If you've got very little fat, that means your hamburger is not gonna shrink too much, and it's not gonna create that little bubble, you know, in the center of your hamburger. And I think I've got 90-10 here. So I've got a little bit of fat, and I think a little bit of fat, even 85-15, is really good because, as we know, that fat creates flavor in your meat. It's gonna add a little more salt here as I spread the meat, or break up the meat. Okay, I think that'll be good. And I don't want to add too much salt to this anyway, because I'm also going to put ham and cheese on top of this. All right. I think that'll be enough. And I went ahead and used my pan and toasted my buns. So they're all toasted. I think that'll be nice. That'll add that little extra crunch as well. Let me get another plate here for the hamburgers. Okay. And I usually use a plate to make my burgers, just so I get them round. I don't want these too thick, but I want them thick enough. And I'll still make that little indent in the center because I want to make sure I don't have this little hump, little bubble in the middle of my burger. So that means everything just slides off. And I want a flat top. I think Chris is a little big. I may make that a little bigger. So I just use this is really like a plastic plate, a nice plastic plate that I got, so that I can spin it around. And you could freeform this too, but I don't know, I've just gotten in the habit of doing it this way for my kids' parties. Well, unless they had like 20 people at their birthday parties, which most of the time they did. So I should say when my kids had friends over, I made all my patties. I don't know, I just like making homemade patties all the time. I don't know, maybe it's that little extra love I felt like I put into it that made it taste better. Who knows? I just know that I like doing it. So I got 3 burgers here. We are going to get ready to fry these up. But before I fry them, I'm gonna make sure my potatoes are doing okay. One thing about roasting these too is that I'm hoping that, because I left the skin on them, that'll get a little crunchy, but the potatoes will be like soft. Okay, I think this is good. Okay, there we go. Okay, I'm gonna go wash my hands, get this out of the way, and we're gonna start cooking burgers. Okay, we're gonna get ready and cook these burgers up. Normally I wouldn't do this, but I know that this hamburger meat doesn't have a lot of fat, so I'm just gonna drizzle just a little bit of olive oil on here. And I thought it'd be kind of cool, you know, it's summertime. We might as well. Sorry guys, I gotta put my fan on. Pretend we're grilling. Okay. Oh yeah. Love that sizzle. And because the burgers don't have as much fat content as sometimes you can, well, I guess it really depends on how you like your hamburgers, but I do not want these fully cooked. I want to see just a little bit of pink. I tell you, I don't know where my spatulas went. So these will take a few minutes on each side. So here we are. We are cooking burgers. Burgers in February, a cold winter's day, but it is good anytime. I think I'll have to tell Chris we're gonna have our favorite beer with this. Oh yeah, a little bit more. Because I want these really kind of just, not crispy, but very well done, like little grill marks. I think that'll go really well. Boy, I'm used to doing something else. I'm afraid to leave these burgers or they're gonna burn or cook too much. Let's see. Yeah, that might be good. Oh, that's better. That's good too. I'm gonna cook this one just a little bit more. And after I get these grill marks on the other side, what I may do, because I don't want red meat in the middle, I may just cover this just a little bit to finish cooking the meat, and then we'll add the ham and the cheese on it. And I think I'm gonna double up on the cheese because I really want a melty cheese burger. Or I should say a melty ham burger that's cheesy. So I'm just gonna turn that down for a moment. Just cover it up with some foil. I just wanna make sure that the meat continues to cook without burning the outer sides of it. So we'll just give that about, I don't know, 3 more minutes. Okay, I think my burgers are pretty much done. We are going to layer this with ham. Depends on how many slices of ham you want on it. Then I'm gonna put a layer of cheese. And definitely, well, you know what? I'm just gonna do 2 layers. Oh, you know what? I didn't get enough of this stuff out. There we go. Sorry guys, I have to do a little bit of, those will be Chris's. Oh dear. Gotta hurry up here. Gonna do a little ham meat on mine. Plus a little bit more. I'm just gonna do a half. 1.5. And I'm gonna do some of my Tillamook cheese. Turn that down just a tad. You know what? I forgot to add my onions to mine, so I'm just gonna. In fact, tell you the truth, I probably should have grilled some of my onions on this pan here, just to soften them up a little bit. Well, I forgot to do it, so you know what? I'm just gonna try not to burn my fingers and add it on top of my burger. Because I definitely had room in my pan. Add another thing of cheese. And so I know the burgers are done, so I'm just gonna cover this a little bit and have it melt. Now, if you have an oven safe pan, but my handle here is not oven safe, you could probably just finish these hamburgers off in the oven. But since this isn't an oven safe pan, I'm just gonna cover it. And then we're just gonna wait till the cheese is really juicy and melty. In the meantime, I think I'm gonna go and get my potatoes out, put them over here, and we're gonna build our hamburger. Okay, here we go. We got our potatoes done. We've got our hamburgers ready. The burgers are done. The cheese has melted, lettuce. Oh, got our beer going on because, come on, hamburgers or lemonade, beer, just all sounds good. So let's build our burger. So of course, obviously, you know, this isn't rocket science or anything, but this is gonna be my burger. And I'm going to have a little bit of lettuce. And I chose arugula because I love that little peppery flavor. I'm gonna put a dollop of this sauce on. And hopefully that'll get warmed up a little bit by your burger. Oh yeah, there we go. And plop. So let's get our other burger going. Look at that. Cheese has melted. We're gonna do Chris's. Hey babe.
Yo.
We got dinner going. I wasn't sure how you wanted. Of course, if I had more hands in the kitchen, which I never do because I'm usually doing videos and stuff and extra camera people, everything would just remain hot. So hopefully this is all hot still. At least the meat will be in the fries. Okay. Oh, do you want to get that stool over there, please?
Okay.
You don't want this?
No.
Okay.
And I'm taking just one burger on the plate
Okay.
to start with.
Oh.
Yeah, so.
Okay, so we're just gonna do one burger on the plate. Chris doesn't want to get too tempted, people. Okay, this is my burger, babe. This is yours.
All right.
We got some fries here.
Excellent.
I put a little sriracha in the ketchup, just a little bit, but you may want more.
Okay.
And I didn't fry these because, you know,
No, they look good.
I just don't have time for that. Okay. Do you want to cut your burger in half?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so do I. Hopefully I'll be able to do this well.
Those are good.
I put them on roast. Probably could have boiled them. And don't be afraid to squish down your hamburger a little bit. There we go.
Okay.
I want to see if this tastes like what we had.
All
I
right.
think I probably could have melted the cheese a little bit more.
I bet it's going to taste better.
But do you see those layers? The burger, the ham, and the cheese.
Mm-hmm.
You see that?
Yeah.
Hopefully the sauce is good. I made it up.
Mm-hmm. Better than what we had before. It's a mouthful.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
But I like it. I thought toasting up the burgers helped.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the hamburger bun and stuff. And cheers, babe. Sorry, I wasn't sure how you wanted your beer. Here. Cheers.
Okay.
We're going to fight over it. Anyway, this is ham burger on a cold winter's night with homemade, I guess, roasted potatoes. So go to my YouTube channel, go to my website, follow me, do this recipe, and let me know how you build your hamburger up. But I appreciate you joining us in Amy Roloff's Little Kitchen.
Great way to build a burger.
Yeah, see? Layers.
I like it.
Molly made some great soup. We're gonna break bread, enjoy this wonderful meal, and look at this.
Tap it.
What? I think
pretty-
it's done. It's a
pretty
little
crusty.
hollow, or
Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
crusty on top. I
It
think it
really
turned out well.
is.
And it's
I
got
think
the
it
little
did
marks
too.
from where we cut the.
yeah, we cut it here and here. So I'm excited to break it and eat it and share with them. Well, hi, I'm Amy, but this time I am not in Amy Roloff's Little Kitchen. Guess where I'm at? I'm in my daughter's house, Molly. I drove up to Spokane because I wanted to see her before I got back to filming, see her and her husband, Joel.
Yeah.
So we've been just having a really great time. And I told Molly when I was coming up here that I wanted to bake bread with her. Molly, to me, has always been my baker. She's really into bread, cinnamon rolls. I mean, that's really what you did
Yeah.
at home
a lot of
before you.
bread, Yeah.
Yeah. And so she's just really good at baking because she's very precise. She's very process orientated, very recipe orientated, which I need to get better at. But anyway, so I'm in Molly's kitchen and we're gonna bake bread today. She's made a fantastic soup, so it's kind of cold and you know, whatever here in Spokane, and we just thought that would be a really good meal, didn't we?
Yeah.
So what kind of bread are we going to make?
So this is just a recipe I found online called, it's like for crusty artisan bread. So it's gonna kind of just have that like round sort of
Round
cloth
shape, okay.
shape. And then the idea is that the crust would be pretty like thick and crispy, not as soft as, you know, like a sandwich
French bread or
yeah.
something like that,
Yeah, so.
Now, the one thing I wanted to make bread with you, Molly, was because yeast, I don't know what it is. It's been my nemesis. Just because I don't know if it's the water temperature I'm not doing right or something, because my bread just doesn't seem to rise. In fact, we made pizza dough yesterday, and I'm going to attempt to make pizza dough in my kitchen when I get home. But I mean, it just turned out so perfect.
Yeah.
It was this, you know, it just puffed up. And the one thing, what kind of yeast do you use?
So I use active dry, so I don't have as much experience with like the instant or quick rise yeast. I think they would accomplish the same thing, but I just do the regular active dry. It just, you can get it in a jar or the packets or whatever.
And I'm gonna have to look up that online because I'd like to know, do you treat these different yeasts differently or it's how they react
I think
differently or faster or
Yeah.
something?
Yeah. So, and yeah, I don't know. I think,
So you use rapid rise.
no, active dry.
Active. See,
Yeah.
look at that. I'm already
Nothing
confused.
quick or rapid. It's not, I think those types just,
Yeah.
the idea is, they changed it somehow so that you don't have to, the rise time is shorter, but I just
Okay.
use the regular
Active.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna go
And-
home and get active rise. But we've already measured took the temperature of the water to make sure we have it.
Yeah. In fact, I'm gonna do it one more time because that's key with the yeast is
Because if you have it too hot,
Yeah.
what happens?
You want the water temperature between like 100 and maybe 110 is
Okay.
kind of where you want to be. So I'm at 103 right now. So
Do you think that's enough, or do you think you should do it a little more? Or?
I might pop it in the microwave for like a few seconds. Just
So if you have yeast into water that's too hot, it kills it, right, Molly?
yeah, I think so. I mean, yeah, it won't
And then
activate properly.
obviously too cool, the yeast isn't able to ferment or do
it
its
just,
thing.
yeah, it doesn't activate.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
let's see.
So I'm going to remember that. I'm going to try active yeast and see what my results are then, because I think if I get a good result with the yeast, I'll be able to understand what the other types of yeast are doing a lot better. But yeah.
And the recipe doesn't call for this. You don't have to, but I usually add like a little bit of either sugar or honey to the water because I think it just helps the yeast. Like the yeast needs to
Okay.
feed on something.
Okay.
Again, you don't have to, but I just found that.
So it's just a little bit.
just like a
Yeah.
teaspoon or something. I just sprinkle it in there and then I'll stir it all around once I get the yeast in.
Okay, so we've got water at the right temperature. Did you take it again?
I mean,
I just
check. Yeah, it's
checking.
fine, but it's at.
I think I need a better thermometer
Yeah,
too.
just a digital. So it's at 106. So
Okay, so
that's
106
pretty
is
good.
a good one. So you just put a little bit of sugar in the water. Now it matters how much water in here, right?
Yes, so I have 3 1/4 cups for this
Okay.
recipe, and then I'm gonna do 1.5 tablespoons of yeast.
And then where's the salt? Do we have any salt in here yet? Or no, not yet?
No, the salt will go in with the flour. I've seen some bread recipes that tell you to add the salt to the water, but I've also read that that can kill the yeast.
See, I think so too. I think it's a lot better when it's added to the salad, the flour.
Yeah.
We just had salad.
So I don't add
Yeah.
my salt to the yeast while it's activating. I want to make sure I have enough yeast here. Sorry. I'm using the packets, but.
And I think we've got 6.5 cups of flour in here.
Yes.
And this is
6
just
1/2.
your typical all-purpose flour.
Okay, so mix up this one. Make sure we got. Here's.
So how much is this? 1 tablespoon?
We need 1.5.
1.5 tablespoons of
So,
active dry yeast.
yeah, about a half. Yeah.
Now, does this recipe, does it matter what you use, or they're calling for active dry yeast?
They call for active dry.
Okay.
So again, it's gonna just affect your rise times and stuff. Like I think you can substitute them, but again, I don't use the quick rise, so I don't know how it reacts.
But I wonder if by using active dry, you use 1.5 tablespoons. If you use some other kind of yeast, do you need more or less, you know?
Yeah, so then I just give it a little stir. You can use a whisk or something, but I just
And then we wait to see, what did you call it? Proof it?
weird. This is acting kind of funky. Look at it.
See, that's what happens to mine sometimes.
That's never happened to me. I wonder if
It's too hot?
no, I think it just kind of clumped. The yeast kind of clumped together, so I'm just gonna break it up a little bit.
Do you have a little whisk?
Yeah. With a spoon.
And then once we get the yeast stirred up in water, we're waiting for it to proof. So you see it like foam up, right?
Yeah, you should see it foam up within a few minutes if your water's the right temperature. And that's kind of just one way to make sure your water's at the right temperature. And
See? I hope we didn't run into a problem.
I usually use the yeast in the jar, so I hope something funky didn't happen, but we'll see.
Do you think you should break that up a little more?
Yeah, I might get the whisk out.
Or here, let's see.
Well, the whisk is in here, so I don't. I've never seen it like coagulate like that.
I can definitely smell it. I mean, it smells like yeast.
And like when it foams, I mean, I don't know, when I first started baking bread and the recipes would always tell you to wait for it to foam, I never knew like how much foam, like what does that look like?
Yeah, what does that mean?
It'll be pretty obvious if it's foaming how it should. Like there'll be a bunch of, I've even seen it, like I'll be watching it and it'll be like a explosion of foam that comes up from the bottom and like it'll cover the whole top. Like it should be obvious.
So how long does it take to see it? You just said a few minutes, right?
Yeah, anywhere from maybe 1 or 2 to 5 minutes, kind of depends on
I think that might be, I don't know, broken up enough?
Oh, this isn't, yeah, it's not expired. So I would just maybe let it rest for a minute.
Yeah, just let it settle down. Okay, this is what it looks like. We're gonna wait and hope that this puffs up. So I'll let you know. We'll be back in Molly's kitchen. Okay, well we're back in Molly's kitchen and I'm making bread with my daughter. I'm so excited. So we got a little worried because we didn't think the yeast was really reacting the way we think it is.
Yeah,
but
it took a little longer than normal, or I don't know if, can I show this to the camera? I don't know if, took a little longer than normal, but you should be able to see in the center there's a float of foam covering the bowl. So it won't look like watery, like you should definitely see like a foamy substance.
And sometimes it may rise a little bit and you'll really be having distinctive foam, but if you see something like this, it should be okay.
Yeah, and a lot of times you can even see like it puffing, you know, you can see the yeast dissolve, so there should be some activity at some point. But
okay, so what do we do?
So
what is this?
We're gonna add a little salt to the flour.
Okay.
So we have a tablespoon and a half of salt, and you can use a spoon to stir
Okay,
that
this
in.
one right here.
Yep. And you're just kind of combining it, and then we'll just add the water yeast mixture, and that'll be our dough.
And I know a lot of you may have bread machines and stuff like that from back in the day, but I don't know, I just think there's something about making homemade bread. And so obviously the yeast is what puffs up the bread.
Yeah.
And the protein in the flour
I'm
too?
just gonna pour this in. Oh yeah, that's
Okay.
another maybe good point. We're just using regular all-purpose flour. We're not using bread flour or anything. Just a white all-purpose flour.
So we just stir this around a little bit?
Just mix it up. And so with a crusty bread recipe, the dough will be a little wetter than some other bread recipes.
More wet? Yeah.
Yeah, more wet. We're not actually gonna do any kneading at all.
And this is just for this particular recipe. I think for
Right.
bread, sliced bread or something like that, that might be
Yeah.
something else.
Yeah.
Or if you're making dinner rolls or something like that.
Yeah. A lot of times you will do some kneading, but yeah, this one, once we combine it all.
Well, that's kind of what we did with the pizza dough. We kneaded it a little bit, didn't we?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. So, and you can kind of keep a little extra flour on hand just to adjust the wetness if you need.
Because we got to form it or something. Don't we? Don't we have to?
Well, once we mix this all, we're actually going to cover it and let it rise for 2
okay.
hours. This is actually a pretty
What do we
pretty
do with this?
simple
Do we
recipe.
just go?
Yeah.
This is a lot more simpler, especially
That's
if
the
you
thing.
don't have to knead it.
Yeah, bread doesn't have to be confusing.
But oh, it is the
No,
yeast. The
no.
yeast gets to me.
Get yourself a thermometer and you're done with the yeast. Like it's.
Well, you know what I'm gonna do? I think a digital thermometer I think would work really well with me. I just have one of those where it just gives these different temperatures and stuff like that. But I think I'm gonna get my digital because you know exactly what temperature you're dealing with.
So I'm just gonna kind of show the consistency of the dough. It's like, it's pretty wet. Like if you touched that, it would be sticking to your hands.
Yeah, it's sticking to my finger.
Exactly. So, but it is kind of, you make sure it's all the flour is incorporated. And probably after it rises, when we come back to it, I'll dust it with some more flour so that we can actually handle it. Because at this point, it's a little.
Yeah, it would definitely
fact.
stick to our hands or anything that we touch it with.
I'm trying to decide, I might even add a little sprinkling. Just the bottom part is a little wet. Like you want it to be a little wet, but.
And I think you want to be careful of how much flour, like what you just did, so you're not
You can always
changing
add
the
more,
dynamics.
but,
Yeah. So I'm so excited about this. Because this really feels so much simpler than, I don't know, mine just don't turn out. I try to make cinnamon rolls and I'm like, this is not puffing like it should be.
Add a little bit on the bottom there.
Now you kneaded your cinnamon roll dough, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I did. So yeah, I feel like this is kind of formed into a little mass. So,
She's gonna check on her recipe, and I tell you, I mean, she's like me or I'm like her. We don't have all of this stuff memorized, so I often go back to a recipe and check it out.
yeah, so,
Oh, by the way, what kind of soup did you make?
just like a veggie lentil soup in the crock pot with like some broth and stuff. I actually added a chicken breast just because I had it, but it's a vegetable recipe.
And Molly and Joel, they don't eat a lot of meat, if at all, kind of, or you do sometimes.
I mean, we do, like I put
But
chicken in the soup.
they definitely use a lot more vegetables, lettuce, lentils, quinoa, you know, all of that kind of stuff. So she just made a wonderful salad for us again. So I'm gonna show that on Amy Roloff's Little Kitchen. So I'm gonna take this recipe back with me and I'm gonna make it myself so that I can understand it. And so this recipe will be posted on Amy's Roloff's LittleKitchen.com. And you can find other recipes there or go to my YouTube channel, Amy Roloff's Little Kitchen.
And then, yeah, so at this point.
Okay, so are we covering it up?
Yep, at this point, you're just gonna put a kitchen
So
towel.
that's how much it is. And we're gonna take a look at it.
And we're gonna let it rise for about 2 hours. A lot of recipes will tell you it should double in size. This particular one doesn't say that, and I'm trying to remember the last time I made it. I don't think it quite doubles, but it should, in 2 hours, be larger than it is now.
Wouldn't you say that any recipe you do use when it comes to yeast or making bread or something, you should see something of a significant difference
There should be
between
a
when
change,
you put it in your bowl. And you don't have to grease that bowl or anything.
No, I just left it in the same bowl.
Because
and
pizza dough, we added olive oil in the bowl, right?
we switched it.
Okay, got it.
So here
Bread.
we go. We'll see.
I know, bread. It's such a science. But we'll see you back in 2 hours because I'm hoping our bread rise. And we're going to have some of it when we eat the soup. But we're not quite done yet. So come on back and we'll be back. Okay, so we are back and we're making bread. It's doubled in half. We're in Molly's kitchen. I came here to visit her. And she put parchment paper on this pan. Because we're gonna put the bread on here? Oh yeah, because it's a round shape. It's not gonna go in a bread loaf pan. So I'm just gonna punch this down, right?
Yep. And we'll divide it. You can just, do like one punch. And so
Okay.
use your fingers, kind of separate it into just 2 halves.
You're gonna, okay.
It'll be sticky, so you can add more flour as you need. Because you don't want it to stick to your hands too much. And then so basically what I do is I just kind of, separate it from the bowl, divide it into chunks, grab one of the chunks, and you don't want to handle it too much because again, it's going to be sticky. So you kind of want to just form it quickly into kind of an oval, a roundish oval shape, and then you just kind of plop it on here.
Can I just cut this in half with a spoon or should I just do my hands?
I just do my hands, but you can do
Okay.
whatever you want.
I don't want the dough to stick to my
And
hands.
as I'm
Like this?
Yep. You're just separating it in half. And then just kind of pick up one of the halves as best you can.
Okay, you know what? I'm on a stool, people, so I'm gonna get some more leverage here.
Okay. And once you have it, just kind of gather it. Well, you want to gather it into a ball. Yep.
Okay.
And kind of stretch the dough over the top.
Oh my gosh, this is more. Okay.
This is a sticky recipe.
So what do I do?
Just kind of, and once you feel like you have it, it might actually need more flour if it's too wet. Like, don't be afraid to, Yep. And then plop it down. Okay. That looks good.
Yeah, I think this will be good. Okay, so I'm gonna plop it down, people.
Now, you don't have to handle it too much. I actually think that
This looks good.
looks really good because if it were just kind of like just spreading out all over the pan, like really plopping, then you'd know your dough is a little bit too wet. But it's actually holding its shape fairly well.
So look at that.
Everyone can see.
Yeah.
Since it's holding its shape fairly well, I think we're actually good in our consistency. And so we actually need to let it rest for another 40 minutes. The recipe says 40. I don't always do a full 40. I might do like 20.
First of all, we already let it rest for 20. We let it rise for 2 hours. Now we took it out of the bowl. We reshaped it a little bit. And now we're going to let it rest for another 30 before we put it in the oven at what temperature?
450.
450 for...
Oh,
How long do we
450.
cook
What
it?
you're also going to do when you turn the oven on to preheat is put like a cake pan on the bottom rack so it heats up. And what creates the crispy crust is once we put the dough in, you're going to throw a few ice cubes in the hot pan, which will be on the lower rack, and it creates like a steam bath.
Okay.
So once you're ready to start
So
your
this
oven,
is on the lower shelf of your oven. This is on the next level above. So when we heat up this loaf pan or cake pan or whatever, and then when we put some ice cubes in that creates a steam around it, which will give it like a crispy crust just on the outside of it.
Yeah.
Now the thing to be careful of is that you are going into an oven and you are putting it in a pan. Do not put it in a glass cake pan or any other kind of glass dish, because when that heats up and you add an ice cube to it, it could crack.
Yeah.
So be careful you don't drop that on the window glass part of your oven door either.
So I'm using a knife. I'm just creating a few slits in the top.
And why do we do that? Because it just makes it look nice?
It makes it look kind of fun, and some people say it helps the dough like know which way to expand. I don't know if that's legit, but yeah,
right.
So we'll just cover this with a towel and let it rest for about 30 minutes and then pop it in the oven.
And that's what it looks like, people.
It is spreading out a little bit, but that's okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Where's my towel? Want me to pause it?
Oh, yeah. Okay, we'll be back after 30 minutes. So, 30 minutes later, and here we are. I cannot wait. We are ready to put this baby in the oven and have it turn out to be bread.
Spread out a
So
little
do you
bit.
think it's going to puff up a little more or no?
It will puff up a little bit more.
But
it has kind of flattened a little bit. I mean, it is kind of just like a
So do you think we should have added just a little more flour to it as we were kind of shaping it a little bit?
Yeah, we probably could have added a little bit more flour.
Okay. But it'll still be bread.
Yeah, and so you want to, so the recipe makes 2 loaves, and so you can just save the other half in the fridge for a couple days if you want to, covered.
But
or
that won't
you can make them both.
But that won't affect its rise or the yeast and
It
all
might
that
rise
stuff.
a little bit more, and
Okay.
actually it might take on a slightly different flavor. Like the yeast does continue to do stuff, so it adds like actually a little bit of complexity, I think, if the longer you let it sit. So
But it'll still continue to rise even though you put it in the
a little
fridge.
bit. It's
Okay, a little
slower,
bit.
but so yeah, we'll pop this in. We'll throw a few of those ice cubes in.
And the
hot
reason
pan.
we have 2 things that we could make bread, because I made a double recipe and I cut it in half, and this is one. And this is another one we'll save for later. So we're gonna put it in the oven at what temperature again, Mom?
450 for a half hour.
450 for about 30 minutes. But again, you can find this recipe, which I'll post in a few days, at amyRoloffLittleKitchen.com or on my YouTube channel, Amy Roloff's Little Kitchen. So we'll be back and we'll show you what the bread looks like, how it turned out, and as we enjoy the soup that Molly made, and we sit down for dinner, Joel, Molly, and I, and yeah. So I had fun making bread with my daughter, and I'm gonna give it a try when I go home, but I hope you have fun making bread, homemade bread, because I think there's something to be said about that. Bread is what? Food for the soul, Molly?
It's delicious is what it is.
And she takes after kind of me, and we definitely take after my mom, her grandmother, because my mom loved bread. We had bread at everything. But anyway, see you in a bit. Okay.
Moment of truth.
Yes, a moment of truth. We are back in Molly's kitchen, and I'm so excited to be baking bread with her. Here it is. She's bringing it out. Wait a minute. And so I think it turned out great. You should see how it puffed up and, just really, yeah, see, look at that. You want to tip it over? Just tip it slightly, yeah.
Hold on.
Hang on, we're getting it in a minute. But no, I think it's going to be delicious bread. So Molly made some great soup. We're going to break bread, enjoy this wonderful meal,
Do you wanna
and look
tap
at
it?
this.
Tap it.
What? I I think
pretty-
it's done. It's a
pretty
little
crusty.
hollow, or
Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
crusty on top. I
It
think it
really
turned out well.
is.
And it's
I
got
think
the
it
little
did
marks
too.
from where we cut the.
yeah, we cut it here and here.
Oh.
So I'm excited to break it and eat it and share with them. So anyway, Amy's Roloff's little kitchen in Molly's kitchen. And again, thank you for letting me be a part of your kitchen. This recipe will be up at amyroloffslittlekitchen.com, or feel free to go to my YouTube channel at Amy Roloff's Little Kitchen as well. So Molly, thank you. I've had so much fun making bread with her. See you later.